Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Daly, and today we have the second ever NASCAR driver that is a veteran, my man Josh White. He's a former Marine combat engineer, and he's a rising NASCAR racer. We're looking to talk about pushing boundaries both in and out of service and talking about his purpose after, on and off the battlefield. We're going to talk about his experience as a 1371 combat engineer from the as in the Marines, the challenges of a partial mobilization for Afghanistan. You didn't really miss much over there, I promise you. Shifting gears, we'll explore Josh's passion for racing, his late start, 16 years old, and making history as the first Marine in NASCAR since 1966. And I think he actually drives for a Vietnam veteran owned team, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll hear about his NASCAR truck start, his success in the ARCA series. I almost put my Tony Stewart jacket on that I'm selling on eBay, but it was too small, so I had to leave that out. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to diving in. Josh also said he will open up about living with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and how he channels his energy into his own hunting TV show. It's about to air on multiple channels starting this year. So without further ado, Josh, how you living today, brother?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. Trying to stay busy. That's one of the biggest key elements to my, being able to overcome, PTSD, anxiety, and stuff like that. I've got to stay busy. So I'm doing all right.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate you joining the show and looking forward to have the first NASCAR racer on here. So I know you got some good stories and we'll dive into those in a little bit. But what I like to usually first ask everybody is, what made you want to join the Marines?
Well, I live in West Virginia. I was born and raised here, and I just literally I'm gonna dive into a small. I'm gonna call it a sub story. So anyway, I was in high school, and I was with a girl by the name of Brittany. And we were, she was, I guess you could call her my high school sweetheart, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, she got pregnant. And it was planned, I wanted a kid. Looking back, I don't know why I thought having a kid that young was a good idea, but I'm glad I did. She's the best. But anyway, I was walking for high school graduation, literally got my diploma, and after high school graduation, they, my parents told me, okay, Brittany, she went into labor. I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the hospital to, be there for her, having my daughter. 2 days later, she had my daughter. Well, I had tried to get a job just out of high school and whatnot. You can't really land anything in any good just out of high school. You don't have no experience. No, nothing, no jack. The best thing you can get, especially around here, just coming out of high school with no experiences, retail or, restaurant, something like that. I landed a job at Bob Evans. I was a host at Bob Evans. And I was just like, man, this isn't cutting it. This isn't going to work. I have a little girl now I got to provide for, and this job isn't even going to provide for me. So 2 months to the exact date my daughter was born, I joined the Marine Corps. And the reason for that was to support my family. That was probably one of the biggest reasons. But I wanted to become the best, and Marines, I mean, they're known for being the best, that and U.S. Navy SEALs. But I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to serve my country. But serving my supporting my family was the biggest reason.
Okay, yeah, and Bob Evans isn't going to harness the best out of you for sure, right?
No.
Yeah. So how was it? Did you have a good recruiter? Did you have a good experience, joining the, getting up with them, or you just were ready to go? You just got into the like the recruiting station. You're like, I'm here. I'm ready to sign up. And I'm ready to ship out ASAP. How'd that go for you?
It went good. I mean, there's a few stories along, all that. Long story short, I had some stuff go on when I was a kid, that would have barred me from joining the Marine Corps. Like, I was diagnosed with bipolar and ADHD when I was a kid. And my recruiter was just like, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't tell them you have it. Don't mark it down on your paperwork. We'll be all right. I was raised by my grandfather. I got took from my mom when I was 4, and I was raised by my grandfather. Well, my grandfather didn't like that too much. he didn't want me to go. But yeah, I was ready to go. I got to the recruiting office, and I told him, let's go, and that's what we did, man.
So let me ask you this real quick. When you got through basic training and everything like that, I mean, how was it being away from your family as a young father and out of West Virginia? And at the same time, how was basic training and everything for you? Was it pretty easy? And lead us up to your first duty station. Like, what all that looked like?
So basic training for the Marine Corps was one of the, if not the hardest, I'm going to say the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Okay.
Basic training was the most challenging, bar none. Just because, I mean, coming from my background and all that, I didn't, have any discipline, didn't have any structure. I didn't have anything to prepare me for, basic training of the Marine Corps or anything. So, yeah, it was really hard. And it was especially hard, leaving my little girl, my family. I really miss them. I wrote them very often. The first few weeks of basic training was the hardest. And I remember, I recall actually sending a letter. Me and my grandpa actually laugh about this to this day. Excuse my French, but this is what I wrote. I wrote, I don't know why I'm doing this. Get me the hell out of here. And yeah, he's just like, there's nothing I can do. Push through. And I did, man. I'm glad I did.
Dude, is it true in like Marine Corps basic training when you went, did you have to like put your head between your legs and shit like that? Is that a true statement? Or like, what was the craziest wake up call that you had during Marine Corps basic training? And answer that first question about like, putting your head through your legs and shit like that. Is that true, or how does that go?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know about putting your head in between your legs. That's kind of odd. I don't think we ever did that.
No, I like on the bus, like when they ship you like through Paris Island, they don't let you like look up or whatever. They don't want you. I never really honestly asked anybody this, so I just said, "What the hell?" I'll ask you while you're here. So
yeah, so I mean, no, it wasn't anything like that. I got on the bus to go to Paris Island, and before you get to the island, at least I did, my bus stopped and they gave us a complimentary meal at Golden Corral, which was awesome.
Same.
Yeah. So after that, I mean, we got to the island, and there wasn't nothing like you said. That drill instructors come on the bus, and it was game on from the first second they got on the bus till the time you left the island. It was full bore the whole time. And got on the bus, started screaming at you, aye sir, yes sir, no sir, and then had you all that rigmarole, and then had you step on the yellow footprint. So I mean, wasn't nothing like you're saying.
What was the craziest part of basic training for you? Looking back at it now, what's the crazy story you got?
Well, my heavy hat drill instructor previously had a platoon that apparently he got in trouble for, and everybody knew about it. Like, he was just, you ever had that drill instructor that you just knew was just plumb off his rocker? I mean, just crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, that was him, and he got in trouble for a platoon that he instructed before our platoon. Apparently, he threw a recruit off third deck, and yeah, and all he got was restriction and got demoted a rank or whatever. And now he's a drill instructor. He's my heavy hat on for my platoon, and just my luck, right? Well, anyway, it was final drill, and I messed something up or something. I don't remember. I don't even think I knew what I did, to be completely honest. And we had dismissed or whatever, or getting ready to dismiss, and we was in the quarter deck, and he took his hands and put one hand around my neck, shoved me up against the wall, and then picked me up about 2 feet off the ground with his one hand. And I swear my life flashed before my eyes.
Damn, he about to start throwing people off the second and first deck. He got in trouble for the third. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go to the second and start choke slamming motherfuckers like the Undertaker."
Yeah, that's man, that's probably the craziest story I have about boot camp. Was literally thinking that I'm about to die because this crazy drill instructor is going to kill me. I mean, I don't know if stuff like that happens anymore, or if
I don't know, man. I heard the texting and holding up hurt feeling reports. I don't really know, man, but it could be an urban legend at this point.
Yeah, they never did that crap for me. If I definitely read about the stress cards and stuff and whatever. If I did that, oh my Lord, they would have killed me. I swear. In boot camp, I was probably one of the most picked on, if not the most picked on recruit out of the entire freaking platoon. I swear. Every single day for like the whole thing, I would get quarter decked, and I'd get PT'd or IT'd. I swear, once, twice, 3 times a day, every day. Like I was just their guy. That I mean, I don't know. They didn't really do that with many other people in my platoon. They just kind of picked on me,
And as they tell us all, PT's free, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I tell you. So you made it through. You got through basic training, had a crazy time. Then you got 1371 combat engineer ready to start blowing stuff up, right? That's what you hope to probably do, or something. Talk to us about like your first duty station and how all that went.
So for my first duty station and my only duty station I actually got transferred to was 4th CB Alpha Company. I was actually reserves, and it was in Cross Lanes, West Virginia. So yeah, I mean, the transfer was an adjustment. I didn't really make a very good reserve Marine at all. I was one of those that definitely should have went active.
Why do you say that?
Well, the mentality going from being reserves, you go from having the Marine Corps do or die mentality that you have, on active duty, and you're full bore all the time. You know what you're supposed to do, blah blah blah. Versus you're on reserve duty, you might go and do your reserve duty one weekend, or whatever, and then you return back to civilian life. So it was like this constant battle of being in the Marine Corps mentality, and then going back to the civilian world, to where, now what do I do? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of lose the Marine Corps mentality a little bit, and then next thing you know, you got drill again. And now you have to snap back into that mentality. And it was the back and forth of doing that really got me. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. Yeah. So how did that go? How was your mindset, doing that 1 weekend a month, 2 weekends in the summer, or 2 weekends a year for training? What were you doing on the civilian side, dude? Because obviously you said you wanted to become the best. You had to get away from, what you were doing at Bob Evans, go to the Marines, you push through, you probably get strong, you get in shape, you're PT, and you're doing all this stuff, getting a different mindset, but then you go back to sort of juggling both hats, I would say. So like, what was going through your mind on there? What were you doing for work? What were you doing to support your family? Because obviously, no matter what reserve you're in, no matter even if you're a captain or a friggin' major, you're not going to be able to support your family on a reserve only. Mostly everybody has a job. So like, what'd you do?
So I started racing again, but that didn't really help my financial situation out because that cost money. But I had tried to work at a bunch of different places. I tried to kind of scale up, gain experience in one thing versus another. I tried to find something that I liked, and I just kept with it. There was one job that I had actually worked for a while and I loved it until they had closed down. And I was a truck driver for a company called Mountaineer Expedite. And I was at that point, I was thinking about getting my CDLs before they started talking about closing down. They moved locations and whatnot, then it just started going downhill. I started losing hours and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, that was it. I just did that and raced and done my duty and kept going.
So you pretty much did, like you said, you juggled different jobs. I mean, I know I did that when I got out of the Army. I did it kind of backwards than you. Like, I got out the Army, got a job in Alaska as a head chef in Oregon, but I got my girlfriend pregnant at the time. So I said, well, what the hell am I doing working up here in Alaska? I got to be closer to home, support the family. Then you just start bobbling around jobs, trying to, like you said, try to scale up. But sometimes you don't get that chance. And I know, like you said earlier, in West Virginia, there's only so much thing unless you're going to go coach with Bob Huggins that, the mount over there with the Mountaineers, dude. You get on the staff or something like that. There's probably not that many opportunities, unless like what do you guys do up there? Mine, probably coal. You got all hard labor jobs, dude. So you said you were trying to do the CDL, then that company went under. What was going through your head at the time, dude? What were you saying to yourself? Were you ever thinking about going to the Marines full time, or what was your mindset?
Yeah, I really wanted to, and there was a point in my Marine Corps career that I actually requested to do that, and they denied me. So I was like, well, if I can't do that, then I want a lat move and go to a different duty station.
Okay.
And in the end, they wouldn't do that either. But that was it. I mean, after I lost the job at Mountaineer Expedite, I just kind of kept going. I mean, there was at one point in time to continue with my racing and support the family and everything. I actually got I was working 3 jobs at one point to support it all. It was really tough.
I bet it was, dude. 3 jobs plus raising a family, plus trying to race, plus paying to race, because I'm sure like you don't get sponsored right off the top, right? You're not like coming in with all type of sponsorship. So talk about that a little bit. What was your passion for racing? Is it something that you grew up with as a child, or is it something that you just fell into as life went on?
So it's definitely not something that I fell into. I knew that I wanted to race pretty much since I could walk. What really sent things over the edge and made me make my mind up. Hey, this is what I would what I want to do. Was literally when I was 4 years old, the movie Days of Thunder. I I know that's probably a little cliche, but yeah, that movie just got me that age. I think my grandpa told me one day that I would actually wear out I don't remember watching it this much, but apparently I did. He told me that I would literally wear out videotapes. Back then, you didn't have DVD; it was VHS,
Oh yeah.
and he said that I just wore out tapes, and he'd have to go buy Days of Thunder again so I could I can have my binge watch sessions. Um, when I was little, he actually, because of the movie, he made a race truck. It really wasn't even a race truck. It was just this international scout that he had built out of pretty much anything he could. It had literally particle board plywood for doors, and he painted the numbers 51 on the side and said, "Here's a race truck." And yeah, he sold it. I got so upset. So yeah, it's just been something that's always there.
So how did you get started in like when you got older on like the professional circuit? Did you just have to pretty much, I mean, prove yourself in the amateur circuit, or how does that even go?
So experience definitely helps. I mean, at the end of the day, I've learned throughout the years what really matters the most is money. I mean, that's unfortunate, but that is the current business model of racing, and it has been for a very long time. I mean, I started out drag racing, went dirt track, and then I went to the ARCA Truck Series, and then to ARCA, and then the NASCAR trucks. The common theme is how much money you got. So that's generally what what I've ran into, and it's been both a blessing in some ways, but in another way, it has definitely been my curse, because on the professional side of things, like NASCAR, ARCA, and whatnot, I haven't been able to showcase my talent at all because the lack of funding.
Okay. So the hurdle to everything is funding. How are you doing now with the team that you're sponsored with or you're a part of now? Is it getting a little bit better for you? Is it, you see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, or are you still dealing with the same battle?
Still dealing with the same battle for sure. I've actually kind of took a step back from it. I've done that um, after about, see, I had my NASCAR start in 2016, and after about 2018 or so, it might have been a little bit later, I was just like, man, I'll have to take a step back and kind of reevaluate things, and then I'll come back to it. Well, that's kind of what I'm doing now, and I'm really enjoying this hunting show thing. Um, I'm gaining a lot of relationships, and I'm getting in business with these different companies, and networking to make my show successful. But the end game for me is to also dip back into the racing scene. Like, that's a huge passion of mine. I love going fast, and it's just so much fun. Racing is much different than what you see on TV.
Yeah, I gotta ask you a couple questions about that. What was it like? What was your mindset, or what was going through your head when you got your first professional start, dude? You made it. You made it. You race car 51 made from your grandfather, from watching that show all the time as a kid, wearing out the VHSs, and then you get your first professional start. What was going through your mind?
Well, it was awesome. I was just amazed and in awe and in shock that this is me. Like, this isn't somebody else. I'm watching. Do this. Like, this is me. Like, I did this. This is a huge accomplishment. And it felt so great. But at the same time, I'm not one to settle. It doesn't matter. Right now I'm 32. If I'm 70 freaking years old, dude, I'm still going to be like wanting to get back out there and do it. I mean, I'm not going to say nothing's ever good enough for me, but I'm always I'm always ready for the next race or the next challenge, the next battle. And so yeah, I mean that was it.
Nah, dude, you gotta. I mean, I think it goes back to your mindset, like you said earlier. Even such a young age, you said that you wanted to, be the best. And when you have that mindset like that, you're never going to be satisfied. You're always going to be striving for the next thing, whether it's the next race or the next hunting show or the next rank in the military. It doesn't really matter, dude. I'm the same way. I just every time I turn the camera on, I'm trying to do the best podcast. I can always get better. It's like a sport, dude. If you like sports when you're a kid, you can thrive in the military. You can thrive as a business owner because you're always looking to better yourself, and that's a great mentality to have. And I'm sure it's taken you a long way. Dude, I got to ask you, how do you go to the bathroom when you're racing?
You don't. I mean, I guess if you really have to and you got to go, you just got to go. I mean, there's no, it's not like you can be like, I gotta pit and use the bathroom, but then go to pit road, get out of your car and use the bathroom.
No, hell no. You're gonna lose out on the race, dude. So that's why it's like going to New York on New Year's Eve. People wait all day and they wear adult diapers. Do you just piss your pants or whatever? So I figured it was the same for NASCAR. I just wanted to ask you while I had you on the show because I feel like some people might not even think about that. But dude, like, how long is the race? Like, what's the longest race that you've been a part of right now? Like how many miles?
I think like 200, maybe.
That's a long way, dude.
Yeah.
You got to drink and hydrate up before you put all that flame retardant gear on, the helmet. It's probably hot as shit. So it's like, you got to get in there and be hydrated.
Yeah, it gets crazy. I mean, I think the craziest of it all, like one time I raced at Iowa Speedway, and this was in 2015. It was just a starting park. I didn't do the full race, but even doing like practice, qualifying, and then doing a couple laps of the race, that was the hottest race I've ever been a part of. Period. Ever. Period. I mean, it was insane. It was like 100 degrees outside. It was okay. You're on pavement, so plus 10 degrees.
At least
Those cars get extremely hot. It's usually 30, 40 degrees hotter in those cars than it is on the outside ambient temp. So that car was like 150 degrees. The night before at like 11 o'clock, the daggone, in my, back then I had an Expedition, and it had a thermometer, up top the center console. Anyway, it read 90 degrees at 11 o'clock at night. Insane.
In Iowa too. You figure in Florida, yeah, for sure, even West Virginia, but damn, all the way on the Midwest.
Yeah,
that's crucial.
Because of how hot it was, and then just that little bit of time in the race car, I had done an experiment. I got on the scale before the day at Iowa and after, and I had actually lost weight.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it, dude. You probably sweated out so much water, dude. Like probably like maybe even close to 7 to 10 pounds. How much was it?
Yeah, it was 12.
Oh, damn. I was going to say 20 at first, but I didn't want to take it overboard. But can you get a drink when you're in? Do you have like a Camelback or anything like that when you're in the car? Because obviously you got a helmet on. You're not going to be swigging like big, like what is it, like a Big Gulp or nothing like that. But you got like a Camelback you could drink if you're in there, or that's out of the picture.
You can, but at that time I was so low budget, I didn't have anything. I mean, in 2015, I actually got 12th in points in the Arc Menard Series Championship, and that whole entire year, I was so low budget. I did 18 out of 20 races, and every single race, I don't remember ever spending a night in a hotel. Like I just took my Expedition, I put queen mattress in the back, and that's where I slept. I stayed in my trunk every single race. It was, that's how much I love it. I mean, I don't care. I'll pitch a tent. I mean, I don't have to have the fancier things.
Yeah, no, you're right, but that shows your passion for it, dude. You're willing to do it. You're not looking to sleep on a gold mattress or nothing like that. You're just doing it because you love it. So I hope you get back to it, man, so you can get on the damn the point board and get sponsored up, because really you said it's about money, which is true, but you also said something earlier about the hunting channel, and you said you're networking, dude. And that's the other thing that's important is all you got to do is find that one person that believes in you, dude, and you never know. They might have the money in the network, and then there you go. You're back on it. So I hope you find that, dude.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I mean, that's not my ultimate goal for the hunting show. I mean, the ultimate goal for the hunting show is just for it to be successful and to kind of give, my fans a new avenue to interact with me, to enjoy the content that I put out. And to just have fun. It's a show. It's supposed to be entertaining, right? So
Absolutely.
the ultimate goal for that is to just be on real linear TV, have video on demand, and then just have fun with it. I mean, and for it to be successful. Now, a side effect of the show is, like you said, the networking and whatnot. If I had a sponsor or not a sponsor, but a company come to me and be like, I love what you're doing. I love your show. I'm a fan of your show, or whatever. Maybe they don't know my show, but they heard of me through my show, or however you want to say it. And they're like, we know that you race. We know that you race this and you'd like to do it. We'd like to sponsor you for a season. I'd do it right now. I mean, I'm not limited to anything. If anybody wants to go racing ever, I don't care if it's this year or 50 from now, I will do it.
I don't blame you, dude. Good for you. I hope you get that, man. And if you when you do, let me know so I can come check you out, dude. Let me know.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the hunting show. Like, how did you roll into doing that? And what are you hunting for? Give us a little bit of rundown. What are you hunting for? Are you just doing it in West Virginia? Are you traveling around the nation? Break down that for us if you don't mind.
So season 1, we just did it around West Virginia. Season 2, we did it around West Virginia as well, but we started to branch out. We went and hunted down in Mississippi with my sponsor, Bilson Arms. And that's towards the end of season 2. We're starting to branch out and hunt in other states around the country, and have fun with it. The show is growing. So because it's growing, a side effect of that is we're going to hunt new and exciting places. And we're really hoping, see, right now, only thing that we've really hunted is like small game, like squirrels, and we've hunted whitetail deer. Now we're really hoping to do that plus other game, like season 2. We also, this season we've also done a hog hunt, but moving forward, we want to do the whitetail. We want to eventually get to the point to where we're doing elk, and we want to do bear and all these different things. So that's really my hope going forward for the show. I want to go and do all these different things and put out the content, and just have fun. That's the biggest thing for me doing the show. I want to have fun, but I also want to bring that excitement and share that excitement with the audience. And that's where we're at with it.
Dude, if you could go anywhere and get a hunting slip anywhere, I guess in the United States or world, I guess, what would you want to go for?
Well, I'd want to go for elk for sure. I've always wanted to elk hunt. I want to get me a mature bull, like northern Idaho or Colorado would be great. Their tagging system, they're over the counter. I mean, you can get tags over the counter, whereas some places like Wyoming or Montana, all these different places, they have a lottery. You have to draw a tag, which makes it really, really complicated. So definitely Colorado or Idaho.
Okay. Where can someone tune into your shows?
So it's going to be on Hunt Channel TV live. Well, it'll be airing on Hunt Channel TV. January 16th of this year, 2024. So January 16th, 2024 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They can also view it video on demand on Hunt Channel TV and Waypoint TV. Both Waypoint and Hunt Channel, they have their own mobile apps you can download. But they're also on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, even a bunch of them. It's just search them up. You'll be able to find me. You can find me on Waypoint right now. It's just the first episode hasn't been dropped yet. It won't drop until January 16th. A new episode will come out every 2 weeks on Hunt Channel. The week in between the new episodes come out, they will be a rerun. So it's definitely out there. You'll be able to find it, and if you miss a date, video on demand.
Heck yeah! What's the name of it?
Josh White's Outdoor Adventures.
Damn, can't go wrong.
Right there.
All right, cool. I wrote it down, man. I'm a tune in and check it out. I mean, it seems like that's like a new. I mean, obviously stuff's been out for a while now, but I feel like there's, with all the different TV streaming channels and stuff like that, definitely more travel and outdoor stuff popping up, dude. So I mean, you're probably in a good niche. I like to do it, passionate about it, or else you wouldn't really be doing it. So good for you, man. I hope you blow it out of the water, dude.
Absolutely. You know, like I said, we're having so much fun with it. I mean, I've hunted since I was 4 years old. You know, when my grandfather took me from my mom, and you know, we started coming up here in Braxton County. That's where I live now, and you know, that's how I got started hunting, was him. I mean, he was a big hunter, big outdoorsman, and I've hunted ever since. I've just loved it, and now I got the show, and it's really cool to be able to share my passion with other people.
Is your grandfather still around?
Yeah, he is, thank God. But he's been downhill for a while. He's 73, and he's went through a lot.
I bet he's proud of you, though, man.
Yeah, he definitely is. So man, a lot of this stuff that I've done, it's been one of those. I mean, he's older generation, so I mean, he doesn't really put all his eggs in one basket until it happens, kind of thing. He would always doubt me until I did it. Then he was just so proud and was like, "When are you doing it again?" You know what I mean? So that was the way it was with the NASCAR racing. I was like, "I'm going to go race NASCAR." "No, you're not." "Yeah, I am. Watch me." I did, and he was like, "When are you going to go do that again? I'm proud of you." So I mean, same way with the hunting show, right? He's done the same thing, but he's learned not to doubt me as much, which is cool. But yes, he's definitely proud of me.
That's good, man. What about your daughter?
She's proud of me too. She's definitely took after the hunting thing. You'll see some of her during season 2. She's been awesome. She shares my passion of hunting now. I took her bow hunting this year. She got her first deer with a bow, and
Nice.
I think that is what really put the icing on the cake for her. You know, after that, she was like, "Man, what are we hunting next? Are you going to video it? Are you going to video me? Am I going to get out there?" So, I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like getting a tattoo. Once you get that one, you get the itch to keep going after another, dude, or something, something along those lines. Yeah, you can't go wrong with deer jerky, dude. I've never hunted anything. I love the deer jerky. I love all that wild game. All the meat's great. Elk is amazing. Deer, bison, all that stuff's great, dude. It's all natural. It's all mostly eaten on the range. It's not been processed, so you really can't go wrong with that. And you get a vacuum sealer in a deep freezer. You're good to go for months, dude. So good for you, man. When did you know that you're going to get out the Marines? Did you just do like the 4 years? Did you have an exit plan for when you were going to get out, even though you're doing reserves? How do you feel like the process of you leaving the military went? Did you leave anything on the table? What did all that look like for you?
So I got out in 2015. I honestly did not know when I was getting out. I did not have a plan at all. Um, it just it happened, and I went out and went my way.
If you could go back and do it again, what would you do differently?
A lot of things. I definitely go active, because I definitely was a much better active duty Marine, and I would have done um, a lot more education when I was in to be able to rank up. They called it MCIs when I was in the Marine Corps. They called it MCIs. It was these um, courses that you took that were required before you can rank up. Um, I would have done more of those to rank up more, which would equal more money, more responsibility, and all that. It would have been really cool. That was my mistake when I was in. I had achieved the rank of E3 Lance Corporal. I got out as a Lance Corporal. They call them terminal lances. But anyway,
I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, they call them terminal lances. Anyway,
Uh,
I there was several times where I could have done the leading Marines MCI and got bumped up to corporal and then just could have moved forward with it, but I didn't really want the responsibility of that. I didn't want any more responsibility, which was I mean, I understand why I thought that way because I was having such a hard time going from, okay, reserve, civilian life, reserve, civilian life. You know what I mean? I was in that constant battle. So I didn't feel like that it was for me. If I would have went active duty, that would have been much different.
No, it makes sense, dude. And at the same time, you were trying to leave, like I call it like the black hole, like where you grew up at, because when you come back, everyone's doing the same stuff. And you like almost go and better yourself, and then you come back and you're sort of double dipping between the civilian life and like the part time. And yeah, you're probably right. Maybe you could have done. Maybe you never know what would have happened if you would have done the full time. But we're here now, and it's like you're still here doing your thing. You're doing stuff that you're passionate about. You're taking care of your family. Your family's proud of you. So you're where you need to be. Maybe another time you could have done something different. But you live and you learn, and you're still striving to be the best that you can. That's all that really matters at this point. I wanted to ask you about your resiliency, your mental health, and just like the PTSD and stuff like that. Like that's something we all commonly deal with, no matter if you've been to war or not, dude. You could be stressed out. You could have PTSD from basic training, man. It doesn't really matter if you had a traumatic event. So where did all that stuff spout from? Was it from the military? Was it before? Was it like a little bit before, during, and after? Or like what's your take on that?
So I did have some childhood trauma, but I made peace with that before I was even thinking about going to the military. I was done with it, whatever. What really started my PTSD, a majority of it, to be completely honest, was when I was in, and I don't advertise this or anything, like, I've freely talked about it with my wife and started to with my friends and whatnot, but MST, I had MST from 2011 until I got out. I mean, it was awful. um, that is a majority of what my PTSD is brought on by. um, some of it is also domestic violence related. I would never touch a woman ever, period. Never. I'd never put my hands on a woman, but I've had one put her hands on me. She would beat the crap out of me a lot. And the last time that she did, her dad actually had to pull her off of me, and she got in trouble for domestic violence. And nothing happened to me because I didn't touch her. That probably has a little bit to do with PTSD, a little bit of anxiety and whatnot. But the MST is huge.
Nah, man, I appreciate you saying that. I'm sure it's, dude, as a man, it's hard to swallow your pride, right? No matter to speak up, you need help, you need this. I mean, but you come to a point of no return, dude, and sometimes you just got to talk about it. So respect you for even bringing that up and sharing it with me and anyone else that may watch this video, because it's nothing easy to deal with, dude. And you're right, it happens on both sides of the spectrum, right? It happens on the women's side, it happens on the men's side, but sometimes men are too shameful and too prideful to speak up and talk about it because dude, people get drugged, people get taken advantage of, tied down. It happens more than you think, right? It's just not talked about. So what helped you get through that, dude? Obviously you said nothing happened to you, but nothing happened to you legally because you didn't do anything wrong, but at the same time something did happen to you mentally and physically. So what did you use to get through that obstacle?
It took me a long time to figure it out, and a lot of what happened definitely affected my military career. I mean, my performance as a Marine was already, I want to say subpar because, like I said earlier, reserve, civilian life, reserve, civilian life. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, but with everything that went on, I progressively got worse. And I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't really talk to anybody about it or anything. I didn't talk to anybody about it for several years. I didn't start coming out about it until like last year. I think a lot of that, is like you said, being shameful or, having too much pride as a man. But also, as men, when we talk about our feelings or something that's happened, I mean, you kind of feel like nobody cares. I mean, you don't. Yeah, I mean, I have literally zero friends that I can call at 3 a.m. and be like, "Hey, this is going on." I mean, nobody cares. But at the same time, like I might have friends like that. I don't know. I don't really reach out. I don't talk to anybody because I feel this way. And have I been better off? Sometimes. Sometimes no. But what's really got me through it is just time and trial and error. I mean, what worked for me might not work for you. It might not work for the other person because everybody's different. Um, it took me time to figure out I've got to do things that interest me, that I have a passion for, that keep me busy so I don't think about these things, so I don't have the flashbacks, so I don't get anxious and nervous and start going down the rabbit hole of depression. And it's been a journey. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, I can sit here and spell out everything that I've done, but the course is always rougher than what it seems.
Oh yeah. Nah, dude. I mean, I don't even have. I hear you so much on that. Like you say that you feel disconnected, essentially, right? Sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's like we live in a world of so much internet, social media. I mean, shit. I hit you up, you responded back. So I mean, I'm gonna put it out here. I don't care. I'm not trying to do it for nothing other than if you need to call someone at 3 a.m., you got my number now. So hit me up, dude. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I won't answer the phone is if I'm slumped sleeping or something like that. But hopefully I hear it ring and I'll get back to you because as in the world alone, dude, it's just like, I don't know. I felt like that ever since I got out the military. I'm like, holy shit, dude. When I was in the military, I had such good friends. And when we were all together, then we all disperse, right? Everyone goes PCS, ETS, move here, move there. And you lose that sense of community, dude. And that's something I guess that I'm going to try to bring back. And I've been waiting for it to happen myself. I'm like, damn, I want to be a part of a community. I want to do this. And man, some people just don't care, dude. But some people genuinely do. You know what I mean? And that's who we need to find, and that's who we need to get around each other. No matter if you're in West Virginia or Timbuktu, we can get on social media and connect. LinkedIn, Facebook, text message, Wi-Fi. We all got a phone, dude. It's a mini computer. So Yeah, man. Like even if someone else is listening, and you don't think you have anyone to reach out to, you can reach out to me or probably Josh too, man. I mean, why not, dude? Like,
Yeah.
we're trying to change the narrative, dude. We're not trying to have people think they don't have anyone to reach out and then end their life. I know people that have done it. You might know people that have done it. You guys listening might know people that have done it. But like, we got to change that, man, because you got to find your passion and your purpose and live for yourself and for your family, because that's not the way out of it, man. No matter what you go through, you can get through it, and you're never going to get a hand that you can't deal with yourself or with the help of your whatever God you believe in, or your support system. So hopefully you guys take something to heart and just act on that, and don't make what is like don't do like something stupid that's going to end a temporary problem. You find something else as a solution, not take your own life, dude. So
Right.
you know what I mean, dude? Like, this shit's crazy, man, but you hit it on the head, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing's worth your life. I mean, there's always, I mean, you're going to have ups and downs. I have downs. I have a lot of downs, but I also have a lot of ups. There's a lot of good that you can take with the bad. There's a lot of bad you can take with the good. It just depends on how you look at it. And life is what you make it. You just got to keep going. I mean, and like you said, we really do need to do better. I mean, I know there's a lot of times that I do need to talk to somebody. I try to talk to my wife sometimes, but most of the time when I talk to her, most of the time I don't talk to her because I don't feel like she understands. I mean, she's not a veteran. She hasn't been there. She hasn't done that. So to have that community, to have that sense of camaraderie again would be invaluable.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And it's out there. We can create it, man. We just got to keep building this community up and just be there for each other, man. We're at the tip of the fingertips to, get in contact with someone, and that might be all you need in a minute, just someone to vent to or someone that's been there. And that's one thing a lot of people say in the veteran community. Like, if you're a civilian, never done it before, yeah, maybe you can't relate, but sometimes it's your wife. She's going to she loves you and she's with you. She's going to listen to you. Maybe she won't have nothing to say, but at least if she listened to you and just says she loves you, or, she's there for you, shit, that might be all you need in the moment. It's better than someone saying, I don't care. You know what I mean? I've had that happen to me, dude. And I'm like, damn, that's a kick in the nuts. Like, you don't care. You know what I mean? That's kind of fucked up to say that, but I've had
it happen to me too. And it's really tough, especially, when you're a guy like me. I've started to open up, but there was a time where I didn't. It was just, I was so closed off. Like I didn't have any desire to talk with anybody. Like, I was battling everything on my own because I felt like, well, nobody's going to care. And even if they did, then what? I mean, that's exactly how it was. I mean, you're just so closed off that's just how you are.
Yeah, and then you open up, and then it seems like they don't care. But some people do care. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is, like, no one's going to care as much as you, right? You know what I mean? It's like you gotta, and like you said about the friends, like, if you got a couple of good friends, at the end of the day, you go to high school, maybe you think you're popular or whatever, and then you go to the military, all these people forget about you. But if you got a couple, 2-3 friends that you could call at any time of the day, they're like your brother or sister, or it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, that's pretty good number. But nah, you're right, man. Just got to do a better job. And at the end of the day, you got to want it for yourself and have a good support system. And that's that, really. What's next for you? What do you have planned? We got you getting back on the NASCAR, hopefully. You got your hunting shows going on, 2 seasons already in the books. What's next for you?
The next thing for me is season 3 of my show. And in the process, what I would really like to see happen. See, I don't, this year of racing, probably not going to happen. If it does, cool, awesome. But what I'd really like to see happen is I want to be back on track 2025. I really want to go to Daytona, man. I want to go to Daytona. That's one race I've never raced. I've raced at Talladega. I have not raced at Daytona. I tested at Daytona, but I haven't raced there. It's such an amazing track, and the history behind that track and everything that happened there is so iconic. You walk through or go through the tunnels of that racetrack, and it just sends chills down your spine. I mean, the vibe from the racetrack alone is just amazing. So, definitely season 3 of my show. You know, I want to try to go get me some big bucks, maybe some elk. We'll see what happens and go back racing. That's my goals. That's what I'm looking for the next year.
Dude, Daytona sounds good to me, man. I'm in Florida already, so it's like 2 hours from me. I'll be right there. I've never been to NASCAR before, but I'll go for you. Who's your favorite NASCAR driver?
Me.
Besides yourself, besides you. I was gonna say you said it before me, but besides you.
Man, he's not in. I mean, I shouldn't say that he's not in NASCAR anymore. He is, but he's not in NASCAR like he was. Greg Biffle. And the reason I used to not be a big fan of his. I used to not. I mean, Greg Biffle, whatever. But no, I was at Martinsville when I made my NASCAR start, and I come up to Greg Biffle, and I was like, man, you got any advice? I'm having trouble, getting, keeping momentum in the corners and, getting some good momentum coming off. He was like, man, this is what you do. The nicest guy ever. Just made an instant fan out of me for life. I mean, and, there's a few guys in the NASCAR garage that are like that. And, they're such great guys. I mean, you can't not be a fan of them. Some of them, on the flip side of that coin, is the complete opposite, though, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. You got two sides of the coin on that. I'm sure you got assholes and you got down to earth dudes like Greg. So at least you met someone positive, you know what I mean, and you could learn from that. And hopefully, when you get back on the track, you could be giving advice to the newcomers. Hopefully, the third veteran coming through the ranks of NASCAR, dude. You're the second, so hopefully there's another one out there coming through someday soon. But
and what's cool is I'm the only Marine in NASCAR right now, and the first since 1966. How many years is that? What is it? Almost 50 years?
Something like that. Yeah, dude. Like longer than we've been alive. Longer than we've been alive.
Yeah, right. I really think that is a really cool accomplishment. I'm really honored to have accomplished that, and represent the Marine Corps in that way. I think that's awesome.
Man, we got to hit the Department of the Marines or the Navy up and say, dude, get sponsorship money from my man right here, dude. Let's go, man. Get his ass an all Marine, like a car that looks like an MRAP, but it got an MRAP wrap on it with all Marine camo or something crazy, man. Have like something, man. They need to do something up for you. Let's go, dude. Get my man out there.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree with you more. But I've tried, and I've had friends of mine that has wanted to help. They've tried, and they've always sent us to the same place. We've tried 8th and I, and we've tried headquarters of the Marine Corps, and it's always either a dead end, or we get to somebody and they just don't care at all. They're pretty much just like F off. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I'm not going to let them piss in my Cheerios per se.
Nah, dude, never that. You'll find the right people, or you're going to hit big on the hunting show, and you'll make it happen when the time's right. So just don't give up on your dreams, and I'm sure it will come to pass, dude. What do we leave out that you want to drop on them before we hang it up before we get that final lap, that checkered flag for the podcast, dude? What you got left for them?
So I just appreciate them, coming on here and watching the show and learning a little bit about me. And I appreciate you for, letting me on, and check out my website, joshwhiteoutdoors.com. You can learn a little bit about my show there. On social media, I'm really big on Facebook. Of course, that's probably just my generation and older thing. But Josh White Racing, you can search on Facebook. That's me. It'll have a verified blue check mark beside it. And then my show, you could search on Facebook as well, Josh White Outdoor Adventures. And have at it. Hope to see you on there.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, dude, being vulnerable, opening up, telling us about your life story. And I hope to hear that. I hope to get a text message, even if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning, saying we on the way to Daytona, dude. So we can go ahead and take that checker flag. But hey, I appreciate y'all listening in. I hope you guys learned something from Josh. I hope you guys check out his hunting show. If you guys want to come on this show, reach out to me. I'd be happy to have any veteran or anyone in the military space on to share. Let's change the narrative. Let's change the black plague of suicide, homelessness, feeling like you're stuck, feeling like you don't know what to do. Let's get you out of that rut. We could do it together. We did it when we were in the military, whether you're in the reserves or the National Guard or active duty. But hey, I hope y'all have a blessed night. Hey, my man's about to do it big. So until next time, you guys have a blessed one. Take care.